What is up? Welcome. Focus up. I'm talking to you, NGBN.TV. If you do not know, right now there is 39 different shows on the NGBN.TV network. You really need to focus up and go check them all out. There's content for everyone, just like the Rubio method. Welcome. My name is Chris Rubio. This is episode 49. Episode 49. My God. We've got a great show with the incredible Dave Bradley. This episode called The Wisdom Rabbit. I'm going to tell you a story about why it's called that when we get to Dave. What do we have on file? I always say that, on file, in store. We'll say in store for today's episode. 3 ways to generate positivity in your life. That's Gobbs and Monahan. Do not talk to strangers. Big or small concert venues. Which ones do I like more? To drink or not to drink. This is going to be a wild video with the doc. The music of Motown. The best place to live in the world. A father-son soccer battle, a rabbit with diarrhea, in a good way. Are people getting dumber? Money and freedom, all of that and much more on today's episode of The Rubio Method. I'm out. Focus up. I'm talking to you, my Masterminds 2 group that we meet every other Thursday. They bounce some great ideas off each other and me, and I'm always learning. And one of those members is Dave Bradley. He's going to be on with us a little bit later. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. First thing we're going to do, though, as we embark on 2024, let's see what the Minute with Monahan is all about today.
All right, today we've got an awesome Minute with Monahan with you. Today, as always, I'm super excited about it. And heading into this new year, we've got 3 ways that you could make your life more positive this year. Number 1 is just taking 15 minutes of your day to get out, go on a walk, think of things that are going on positively in your life, and breathe and slow things down. When you're more grounded and you're thinking about ways that your life is going positive, that type of thought pattern tends to help you and help your outlook on a lot of things. Number 2 is surround yourself with people that make you laugh. If you have a friend that you know every time you're going to be with them, you're going to have these great big giant belly laughs, make time for those people. A lot of times we don't often make time for our friends that make you laugh and make you feel happy and excited. Make time for those people and make time for those around you that'll give you those great big giant belly laughs. And last but not least is make sure that you're not talking bad about people. I know it sounds crazy, but once we start talking ill about others, our view on a lot of people starts to change. So in a lot of ways, try and find ways that you can talk positively about others or compliment others. Or if you hear something that someone else said positive about someone, share that news, share what you've heard, because a lot of times that generation of positivity just reflects in your own life and you start to feel better about who you are and those you're around and the general direction of where you're going. So there you go. That's 3 ways to be positive or generate positivity in your new year.
That was very good, Monahan. And I also like this sweatshirt. If you guys are watching on Apple, Spotify video, YouTube, you can see it a nice little, tweed. I don't know. Jenna, what was that material? It kind of looks like burlap, but it's softer. Remember, you can also subscribe at therubiomethod.com, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. Keep spreading the word. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube right now. We're going to go to email questions. If you have any questions, you can always email rubio@therubiomethod.com. They can be on men's mental health or they could be on anything. As you can tell, the questions are usually all over the board. Question number 1 is from Steve in Albany, New York. Rubio, what is your favorite restaurant? What is your favorite restaurant? I actually have 2 favorite restaurants. One I talk about all the time. It's One Shot Charlie's in Harrison, Idaho. They are an official sponsor of the Rubio Method. It's my happy place. I have a certain spot I sit there. They have a drink named after me. The food is fantastic. The service is great. It's absolutely great. My second favorite restaurant is a restaurant in Miami, South Beach. It's called Prime 112. I stumbled upon it. It's a very, very fancy restaurant. It's very, very expensive. If you're going to go for dinner and drinks, just be ready to put down some serious plastic. It can run you well over a couple $100 if it was just you and your wife or significant other just having good cocktails. But it'll be the best food you've ever had. Prime 112. I'm telling you what you need to do. It's fancy, but you just go to the bar. Instead of peanuts and like cashews in little cups, they have actually stalks of bacon. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So my two favorite restaurants are Prime 112 in Miami, South Beach, and then also obviously One Shot Charlie's in Harrison, Idaho. It's absolutely phenomenal. Next question from Lacey in Pismo Beach, California. Ooh, Pismo Beach. They got a great cinnamon roll place there. Rubio, when you are going to a concert, do you like a big or small venue? I would prefer a small venue because I've gotten spoiled. One time my wife took me to see Michael Bublé. And Michael Bublé is an absolute phenomenal singer. If you don't like him, you're absolutely lying to yourself. He's great. I think he's Canadian too, Jenna. Yeah, he is Canadian. I'm pretty sure. He married some princess in Spain. She's a smoke show. Anyway, absolutely phenomenal. But my wife bought me tickets where I was like 30 yards from the stage. And yeah, Jenna tells me he's very Canadian. And we're like 30 yards from the stage. And I looked at my wife and I was absolutely pissed. Because I said, okay, number one, I don't want to know how much these cost. And number two, now that I've been close in concert, you get spoiled. So now I can't be more than, my rule is usually as long as I can throw a baseball and hit the singer or a football. So we're talking 40, 50 yards. That's how close I have to be. Because if I'm too far and I'm just watching the screen, what's the point of even being at the concert? So it's one of those things that I don't want to know how much the money costs or the ticket costs or how much you spent on it. Just get it done and just don't even tell me about it. And last question from Tiffany in LA, California. Rubio, when you are out in public, do you like to talk to randoms? Zero chance of this. I cannot stand talking to randoms unless I'm in a real talkative mood, which usually doesn't happen. I was talking to Jenna before this. When I walk into an airport, let alone the plane, I immediately get through security, put sunglasses on, and I put my AirPods on, and I just basically just try not to talk to me. I don't want to talk to you, and I'll keep my sunglasses on the entire time, even on the plane. I don't like small talk because I don't really have the ability to do it. I don't have a lot of fluff in me. So it's one of those where I just want to get to the point. That's where literally the last segment is called the bottom line. But I will tell you a story. I was out with some friends and we were at a local dive bar. And it's a place that I haven't been to in, good God, probably 8 years, 9 years. And last time I was there, it was not a great experience. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. We go to this bar. We're sitting there and there was these older, I think Vietnam vets, because he had a hat on, and he had a Vietnam vet hat. And I remember I was sitting there and just my friends went out to dance or get a drink or something. I'm just hanging out there like this, having a good time. And all of a sudden, this dude, it's like 75-year-old dude, reaches out and grabs my arm like this. And I said, I'm like, what? And if you're not watching on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes, he just basically puts his hand on my forearm and he looks at me and he just says, "Are you okay?" And I go, yeah. It was kind of weird. Like he wasn't trying to put a move on me or anything. He just puts his hand on my arm and goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." And he says, Are you a vet?" And I said, "No." And I get asked that a lot just because I got that like military look. And I said, "No, I'm not." And I go, "Here." I said, "Are you?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, thank you for your service." And he goes, "Well, I just looked at you and I just want to make sure you're okay." And I thought it was very cool. He goes, "Every once in a while, you have to go out of your comfort zone." He said this to me. He goes, "Every once in a while, you have to go out of your comfort zone and just make sure someone around you is okay." And I was like, whoa. And I almost got emotional in this bar. And I don't know if it was because it was Hallmark season and all that, because I was up to date on my Hallmark movies. But I was like, that is a very cool statement. And this guy didn't know me. I didn't know him. But just him literally touching my arm, just saying, "Look, stop what he was doing. Are you okay?" I was like, yeah, no, people don't really ask me that a lot, but that's, I guess. And it was just a very, very, very cool moment. So I'm telling you, without making it too weird, see if you can do that to someone that you do not know. I don't recommend you grab someone or just put your hand on them, but just ask them. What's the harm in that? All right, we're going to go to commercial. We've got a great segment with a doc, my favorite Irishman, and then we're going to come up with a fantastic interview with the great Dave Bradley. I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
Attention, gentlemen of distinction. Introducing NGBN.TV, the television network designed exclusively for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Your go-to destination for entertainment that speaks to you, inspires you, and celebrates the incredible journey of manhood. And here's the exciting news. NGBN.TV is coming to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and your favorite mobile devices. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, seeking self-improvement, or just looking for a good laugh, NGBN.TV has got you covered. Entertainment, inspiration, brotherhood. Coming soon to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and mobile devices. NGBN.TV, where men thrive.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Anthony Cobbs, AC of AC Sports Live. He'll be on tonight on the NGBN.TV network at 9 p.m. Pacific. He's got a great show that's very sports related. And my heart goes out to you, AC. You're Phillies, or you're not Phillies. What the hell? The Eagles. Same thing, Philadelphia. They are not a good football team right now, man. And I know you're struggling, and I know you want them to do well, but they are really, really struggling. Don't forget to catch AC Sports Live tonight on the NGBN.TV network at 9 p.m. Pacific. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. He's the smoothest man on NGBN. He's smooth. His voice is smoother than my head, and that is a very, very smooth thing. Jenna, what do we have for my favorite Irishman, the Doc?
Okay, I'll do this by saying action and then cut. Thank you. Action. Rubio, are you a man that likes a glass of wine now and then? If you are, maybe after a nice meal, such as Christmas time or going into the new year, you're very, well, happy to have had that big meal, that full belly, and knowing that the science has showed you that having a glass of wine is good for your cardiovascular health. Gives it a nice little bit of a kick, and off you go. Now, in the last year or so, the research has shown that zero alcohol, no alcohol, is good for us human beings. And so over the next few months, the scientific community and one particular university and study as such is looking at zero alcohol, even considering bringing into account all the benefits of that little glass of wine now and then after a big meal. So, is it for you? Is it for others? Is it for middle-aged men? Believe it or not? Cut.
Ooh, so Doc is saying what glass of wine, which number one, I'm not a wine drinker. My wife drinks all the wine. I think to me it tastes like I would drink red wine, but I think it would be unclassy the way I would do it because I'd want ice in it. If I'm having a drink, I want it to have some sort of refreshing characteristic. And wine to me is just, it's all right, but I wouldn't do it. And then you get the yellow one is a white wine or something like that. That tastes too buttery. It's just not my thing. I'm not classy enough. I also want to be the guy that drinks like those old-fashioned drinks like the judge does all the time on Decades. And I just can't do that either. It's just not my thing. But no booze at all. That's going to be healthier for you. I could see it. One of those things. I don't know, Jenna, can you bring out Dave Bradley? Let's talk about it. I don't like tannins. What the hell's a tannin? Dave Bradley, do you know what a tannin is? Jenna just yelled at me and says, it's amazing. I don't like tannins.
Tannin is something to do with what is in red wine, I believe. Like a taste thing, maybe? I don't know. I don't drink, so I don't know.
Okay, you don't drink at all?
No, not now, no.
Okay, so you're all in on the Doc's theory that no booze at all is best.
I just don't remember the last time that I had a drink. And here's an interesting fact for you. I've never been drunk and I've never thrown up. Ever. Ever. Not for any reason.
Wait a second. You've never, whoa. You've never, hold on. You've never thrown up from a sickness?
Nothing. Never thrown up in my whole life. Not that I remember. Maybe when I was a baby.
Wow. I mean, I'm not a big thrower-upper, but I can't stand throwing up. It always makes me feel like trash. But that's amazing. You must have an inside that is just built out of steel or something.
Yeah, I think so.
You've never had food poisoning?
No.
Oh, it's quite the adventure. You're going out of every hole at that point.
I've seen it. I've looked after my kids and my wife with food poisoning.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's why I don't want it. I've seen what it's like. It is ugly.
Oh, yeah. It's not a fun thing when you're sitting on a toilet and then you're looking for the sink at the same time. There's a great visual for everyone listening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's Dave Bradley? He's an author. He's a speaker. He's a mentor. He's a former professional soccer player for Manchester United. I hear that's kind of a big thing, Dave. Welcome to the Rubio Method. I've got 3 quick hitters for you. Ready?
Go.
Number 1, I was doing some research on you, and you're a big Motown fan, which shocks me because you do not look like your average Motown listener. Let's just be honest.
No.
Okay?
No.
I love Motown. I was born and raised on Motown. Have you seen the Motown musical?
No.
Jesus, Dave, let's get you out there and experience the things. You got to go get some food poisoning and go see the musical.
I need to get out more, obviously.
Okay, so if you could hear one Motown artist, dead or alive, who would it be and where?
Diana Ross. Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, in her prime, like when she was 20, 30, 40, 50, what?
Yeah, I mean, you hear people when they're older singing the songs, and it's just not the same as when they were in their prime. So yeah, I prefer to listen to them when they're in their prime.
Okay. Next question. USA, Canada, Australia, South Africa, England, Holland, Hong Kong, New Zealand. You've traveled to all these places. Which place is the best place and why? And which place has the best food?
Best place to travel or best place to live?
Both.
Okay, Cape Town, South Africa, without a doubt.
To travel or live?
Both.
Really?
I lived in Cape Town. I traveled to Cape Town. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Table Mountain in the background, the beach in front of you, Chapman's Peak, the road going round up on the, like high up, overlooking the ocean. And you can see a line when you look down from Chapman's Peak. There's a line where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Pacific Ocean. And if you go in the Atlantic Ocean on the beach, it's cold. If you drive around the corner and you go on the Pacific Ocean, it's warm. 10 minutes away. And that
What's the
line is where
temperature of
the
the air?
oceans meet.
What's the temperature of the air?
Temperature of the air. It's southern hemisphere, so they're different. They're opposite seasons to the northern hemisphere, like we are. Temperature of the water would be 70s in the Pacific, but probably 40, 50s in the Atlantic.
Okay, I'm just when I'm thinking Africa, I'm thinking like Africa hot. Like I don't want to be sweating nonstop.
Yeah, no. Cape Town has a warm summer, but not overly warm, and a temperate kind of a cold, just more wet and windy, and in the wintertime. So yeah, it's the southern tip of South Africa. So it's not Africa, it's South Africa. So it's a little bit more temperate. The climate's more temperate.
And how's their
Amazing
food?
lifestyle.
And how's their food?
The food, I mean, I was there playing soccer in 1985. Then I went back and set up a business in 1992. But it's come a long way since then. So the food-wise, because it's a very mixed ethnic kind of, it's a real melting pot of different people. You've got the white speaking Afrikaan, South African, you've got the Afrikaner, that's an old Dutch language, Handed Medio, Handed, Goeiemorgen, that's Afrikaans, that's like hello, how you doing, good morning. So yeah, that's kind of the basic mix of South Africa. I can imagine back in the day before the changes occurred, probably the best lifestyle available to live.
Okay. All right. Last question, Dave. I know soccer is a team sport, but you are one of the rare human beings where your father was also a professional soccer player, and you're a professional soccer player. I know it's a team sport, but if you had to play your dad one-on-one, just I don't know how you'd make it work, who would win? Who was better?
I used to play sports, soccer and other sports with my dad all the time. And like a lot of parents who were of the mindset of winning and not wanting to make it easy for you, he never let me win anything.
Yes.
Anything. In
Fantastic.
any shape or form.
My kind of guy.
Anything, playing around. The only time I started to beat him in anything, I was probably getting more up to early mid-teenage years when my physicality and my mentality kind of matured a little bit.
Good for okay. I'm in for that because I wouldn't let my kids beat me either, and I would still I would bring it up because it's one of those things. It's like a rite of passage, an honor for you to actually be able to beat your dad because you usually hold your dad in pretty much a high view, you know, like he's some sort of legend. And once you do beat him, it's like whoa. Dave, you're getting a little cracking sound right now. Jen is telling me you have a little cracking sound. Did you adjust your mic at all or nothing?
No.
I didn't hear it right there, Jenna. Okay. Anyway. All right, Dave, you are in my Masterminds 2 group. For those that don't know what a Masterminds group is, just you get 4 to 6 people to come together. You guys kind of just bounce ideas off one another, and you're just kind of feeding off everyone. And Dave, when you're on there, well, number one, I call you the wisdom rabbit in my head. Okay, it's my nickname for you. And have you ever owned a rabbit, or have you ever been around a rabbit?
No,
Okay. Have you ever seen a rabbit?
I've seen one.
Okay. Well, they're cute little fluffy things. I'm not saying that you're cute and fluffy. All right. But they just walk around and they just take a dump everywhere. I mean, literally just nonstop. They're dropping these rabbit pellets all over the place. And
Yeah,
you
I
don't
definitely don't. I
take
definitely
it.
don't do that.
Okay. No, but see, you do. I call you the wisdom rabbit because as soon as you start to talk, we could be talking about orange juice. And then all of a sudden I'll get my pencil like this and I start doing it. And then you have all these nuggets, like these little rabbit crap nuggets of information. Wisdom, I call them wisdom. That's why I call you the wisdom rabbit. How do you have so much damn wisdom? Is it just age? Is it travel? Is it what?
I think it's a combination of the fact that I've traveled to well over 30 countries. I've lived in 4 countries. Some of those countries I've been to, that I traveled to, I've been to multiple times, various venues, Hawaii, 35 times because it's my favorite place. I think also, I read something the other day and it said, if you're in the room and you know the most of the people in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And it came from Taylor Swift. And I'm thinking, I just want people to know that is not a Swiftie thing. That came out about 35, 40 years ago. Nothing's new. It's kind of come a full circle. Now Taylor Swift is getting all the accolades for saying it. But I think, to be honest with you, primarily, I have a very strong faith. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, so are you religious?" And I go, "No, I'm not religious." And they go, "I thought you said you were." And I said, "No, I didn't say I was religious. I said I have a strong faith." Being religious seems very limited and very ritualistic to me. Having faith is more. I remember reading this quite a long time ago now, 20 odd years or more ago. If you were to wish for anything, or if you were to pray for anything on only one thing, you should pray for wisdom. And I started doing that. And a couple of decades later, all of a sudden, and I think, to be honest with you, it depends upon the environment you're in. A lot of people think, well, gee, like even when I met my wife in New Zealand and we were talking, she said, "My God, you could talk to a tree." And I thought, I didn't know whether that was a compliment or whether it was something else. I'm one of those people that can be an extrovert, but I can be an introvert.
Mhm.
I can be both. I can be at home on my own all day, speak to nobody, and be quite happy with myself. However, I do like to be around people because I like to communicate and converse with people. And to answer the question in the mastermind group, we have such a good mastermind group and a dynamic, and you're especially good, just not because you're hosting this program, but I guess it helps anyway. But I need people to be able to bring it out of me. So in a mastermind group, somehow it pulls it out of me. And if you didn't do that, I'd probably sit through the whole thing and not say much at all.
Yeah, and that's one of the best parts about those mastermind groups is no one's trying to like get anything from anyone. You're not selling anything, but it's one of those where we just kind of talk and then it's like verbal diarrhea just starts happening. And then we just, oh, I got this idea. Oh, that could work on this. Why don't we try this? And then Dave just comes out and he does his rabbit pellet, starts crapping wisdom everywhere. And I'm just writing everything down because I'm like, whoa, that was a fantastic one. Because at the end, we always come back around and say, so what did you take away from today's meeting? And I'm always writing just a Dave Bradley quote.
Yeah, I think in that case, I'm just sitting waiting for something that's going to come to me that's going to be relevant for the people that are in the meeting. Not what I want to say, but to say something that would mean something to somebody else. I don't need to be seen to be Mr. Wisdom, because if it's not resonating with people that are listening to it, then it's irrelevant. It's just going to fall on dead ears anyway.
Yeah, and that's we were talking about that one time. And Sub 60 Ed just chimed in on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. We're all live on all three. It said faith over religion. He likes that, and I think we talked about that with you and AC. How you guys are both faith-based people, and you're a little bit religious, but don't push it. And I think that's what really helps people out. Because when anything gets shoved down your throat enough, you're like, okay, that's enough.
I was listening to a guy. AC and I actually both married pastors' kids, PKs basically. So that definitely shapes you and molds you, because you're a product of your environment. You are who you mix with. So most of what's going into my ears, not just my ears, but also through my eyes and through my spirit, is positive stuff. And it's stuff that is ageless, timeless, and it's truth. I don't deal in people's opinions. You know, someone said to me one time, well, convince me of what you tell me. And I just said, man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I'm not in the convincing business for anything, for anybody in any shape or form. I can help people if they want to be helped. If they don't want to help, that's fine. And a lot of people have an opinion, but I don't deal in opinion. I'm too old. I've been around too long. I'm too long in the tooth to know the difference between right and wrong. And I don't deal in opinions anymore. They're like noses, and we've all got one, and they're all different. I only deal in truth.
Okay. As society's gotten more advanced, we should be actually smarter. Do you think people are dumber now than they've ever been?
Well, it's definitely not got more advanced. We're going further than we ever were in years. Now we've just hit 2024. But I think we've not advanced. I think we've kind of drawn back a little bit. I think mainly because some people have been convinced that, oh, it's okay, do what you want, be who you want to be, go and say what you want to say, and, you know, speak your truth. Well, most people don't know the truth, so how the heck are they going to know how to speak it? They're speaking their opinion. They're not necessarily speaking the truth. So we're not in the greatest of places right now, but nothing's permanent. Nothing ever stays the same. So it comes. It's waves. It comes in waves. It'll come and go. This will all go, and the good will come back. You know, it's going to take some people to make that decision, make that happen.
Yeah, Jenna said people don't take responsibility, they blame. But see, Dave, you just did another you just took a dump on the floor of wisdom. You just said people speak the truth. They say they're speaking the truth, but they don't know the truth.
You took it out of me. Okay, I'm blocking this. Dave's got wisdom stuff. You drew it
it's
out
the
of
wisdom
me.
rabbit. I'm telling you, you're the wisdom rabbit.
Okay.
You're just dropping wisdom dumps all over the stage right now. It's unbelievable how you don't even know that you're doing it.
Okay, then no, I don't. I actually don't. I'm just being me. I'm just being the I am Dave, and that's it. And that's what Ian Hill said to me at the start of my journey with NGBN. I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know that I even need to be here. And he just said, well, I think you do need to be here, but we don't know what that is right now. Just be Dave. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just being Dave.
I think Ian does a great job of that, and the whole NGBN network of Dave, just be you. Like when I started doing the Rubio method, it was Rubio, just be you. Okay, you just be the jackass that you are. He used to tell me you get from point A to point B, and we just got to make sure you get there at some point. Don't go too far off track, but just get there. Dave, you were always talking about money and freedom. You say the words money and freedom, and you almost the interchange for you. What do you mean by that? Because you're always dropping those nuggets.
Okay, so I got involved with some entrepreneurs when I was at the end of my soccer career in New Zealand, and I was looking to exit or transit out of professional sport into now what the heck am I going to do after soccer, which is a big problem for sports people, as you know. It's all right being, you know, at a top level of being a paid sportsman, but it's a very short life. It doesn't last forever. And the energy and excitement, the euphoria is such a level, and there's ups and downs, of course, but you know you learn to live with that. But when one day you're a professional sports person, or you're a professional singer, or whatever the case may be, and especially in sport, one day the clock strikes midnight, you get up in the morning, and it stops. It's deadly quiet. There's nowhere to go. There's no locker room. There's no banter. People ask me all the time, do you miss soccer? No, I was glad to get out. After 14 years, every single day, are you kidding me? I was glad to get out. But I also had something that I could transit into. So I started developing a business while I was still in soccer. So there wasn't that big boink. Now what are we going to do? So I transitioned and started working with entrepreneurs, and they said to me, what do you know about money and time, Dave? And I didn't even understand the question. And they said, well, people make money, but they have no time. Is that how you want to be? And I said, well, what's the point in having money and having no time to enjoy it? And they started, well, what about having time but not having any money? And I said, well, that doesn't sound very good. And they said, okay, what about having neither money or time, even though you're working every day, making money, but you spend everything that you make? Because the trick is, it's not what you keep, it's not what you make, it's what you keep after what you spend. I remember spending a whole day with
Another
Robert.
wisdom rabbit.
I guess I'm around people who know more than me. Basically, I make sure I keep myself in that position. There's a guy called Robert Kiyosaki, and a few years ago, he came out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. I spent a whole day with him in New Zealand, and he was talking to my leadership team, business-wise. I built big teams out there in distribution networking. And I spent the whole day with him, and I said, so I was already living on money. Because you've got people who've got money and no time, or they've got time, they've got no money, or they've got no money and no time, even though they look like they're doing great. They got the house, they got the car, they got the jewelry, they got the clothes, they got the holidays, but they're riddled with debt, and they're making a lot of money, but they're spending a lot of money. And the fourth part of that equation is having money and time. So how do you have the money but have the time as well? You have to have residual income. The only way to get residual income is build a business that creates residual income, or you've got a business, and when you start making money from business, you don't put it into the lifestyle bucket, so to speak. You put it into the investment bucket. And Robert Kiyosaki said, there's one piece of advice that I could give you, and he didn't give me that. I asked for it. He said, don't work for money, get money working for you. And I thought, wow. So at that time, I was around about 33 years of age. I'm 66 in about 3 weeks' time. And ever since then, I've never worked for money. We've all got to have money. I don't work for money. I work for dreams. I work for opportunity. And the opportunity is, this is a Zig Ziglarism. Zig Ziglar was one of the early adopters of being positive. And then Tony Robbins came out subsequently. But Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, then you'll get what you want. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
If I don't help you get what you want, then I don't get what I want. So therefore, it's what we all know as being called a win-win.
Dave, that was phenomenal. That inspired me.
Good. Well, that's what I'm here to do.
How do you I think I know the answer to this, but how do you maintain your happiness and upbeatness when there's so much negativity in the world?
I think happiness is a bit of a myth. I would replace the word happiness with joy. I only have to look at my wife and my 2 kids, and I get boundless amounts of joy. I've been a full-time dad ever since my wife and I got married 25 years ago this coming September, on 9/11, would you believe? So my wife and my kids are everything. I have a son in England who's 40 years of age. I can't believe I have a son who's 40 years of age. That kind of blows my mind. I was talking to my youngest daughter, who's 19, her best friend, who still lives here. We spent a bit of time with her, and she's 19, and she was talking about her parents, and I said, well, how old's your mom? And she said, oh, she's 40. Oh boy, I didn't even want to bring that one up. I just shifted off that one pretty quick. But I prefer to think, I think if you're running around every day chasing happiness, I think it's gonna be I think most people are not chasing it. I think they're just hoping that happiness somehow will just come along and drop on them. It's something that every day you have to work towards, but you can't be happy if you're not happy. If you're not happy in your soul, in your spirit, what I would say is get out of your mind, your will, and your emotion. My mother used to say to me, where there's a will, there's a way, but it's temporary. And be disciplined. Oh, okay, discipline is good for a while, but it's very hard to maintain discipline. So I feel like I'm going round and round in circles a little bit, but it all boils down to the fact that there's an old Chinese proverb, and it said, "Man who stands on mountain with mouth open, waiting for roast duck to fly in, have long wait." I think that's what people are doing with waiting for happiness. You go after joy and forget the happiness.
Yeah, you got to have some sort of plan, and you can't wait for everything to happen. You got to knock on some doors. You got to talk to some people. That's why I love the masterminds groups, is that we get to just bounce ideas, and you could be in a rut like, oh man, I can't figure out this, and boom, all of a sudden Dave Bradley comes taking a wisdom dump right next to you, and then you everything's fantastic.
I think it's the pursuit. It's like that movie, the pursuit of happiness. It should be called the pursuit of joy.
Hmm.
It's the relentless pursuit towards the inevitable. The question you got to ask yourself is, what is the inevitable for you? What do you want? There was a survey done of people who have become their absolute best, call it successful, whatever you want to call it, but just being the absolute best. And the one common denominator of all people that became successful and had joy in their life was they all knew what they wanted.
Oh, I like that.
They all knew what they wanted, because we all think we know what we want, and really we don't all know what we want. It takes a lot of work to sit down and think, what do I want? Who is Rubio? What am I? Who am I? What do I want? And then come up with a plan to be able to do it. What do you want? What's the price? Are you willing to pay the price? You know what you want? What's the price? Are you willing to pay the price? And the third one is, go after it. It's not going to come to you.
That was like a massive wisdom dump of just knowledge all the time. My desk right here is just overflowing with Dave Bradley wisdom dumps. Her name Chastity says she loves Dave's wisdom. Dave, where can people talk to you? Where can people find out more about you? What's the best way to reach you?
They can send me. Okay, this is going to be really brave, but I've done this when I was speaking on a stage in front of 50 or 70,000 people. I don't know, once you're over 20,000 people, then it doesn't matter how many's there.
Yeah.
And I said to people, okay, if you need to get hold of me, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. And everybody gasped, like, this guy's got to be crazy. But when you do that, do you want to know how many people actually get hold of you? Hardly
5.
any.
Yeah.
Right. Hardly anybody. So you can text me. You can't call me because my phone's got one of those things on it that avoids numbers that I'm not. I don't even hear the call. It gets rid of it and dumps it because I don't want to get calls from people I don't really know. Not from people who are genuine, but all those other calls. So you can text me and you can include your name on 419, one for America, 419-902-7451.
Do it one more time.
419-902-7451. And I specialize in helping people set up 6-figure residual incomes that creates money and time. And also, health is the number one asset, way above money. People say money's not important. Yeah, money's like oxygen. Oxygen is number one. Money is number two. You just can't do without money. That's just the fact of life. People go, I don't want a lot of money. Well, then you're okay. Don't worry about it, because if you don't want a lot of money, one thing for sure, you won't get a lot of money.
That's absolutely true. Sheila Willis up from Canada just said she wished she met you 8 years ago. She's been thinking about a lot of stuff, so expect a conversation with her coming up.
Okay, Sheila. Bring it on. Bring it to me. I know Sheila.
Perfect. Dave, I really appreciate your time and your wisdom. You were absolutely phenomenal. We're going to go to commercial, and then we're going to come back with the bottom line. Dave Bradley, everyone. Once again, Dave, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
You have been watching The Rubio Method, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
This is NGBN TV, a network for men and home to top experts, speakers, authors, and more. Streaming TV for men, created by men.
But why?
Why are we a network that inspires,
Educates, entertains, celebrates, and supports
men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, simply to save men's lives.
There is an epidemic in our community,
and it's taking men from us?
I'm talking about mental health and suicide.
But we have an answer, and it's streaming live shows, sports, concerts, and more.
And a real way for men to lock shields.
We can't wait to launch this TV network for you and with you.
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 Join our movement at ngbn.tv, coming January 2024.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Chevy and Nasty. They're going to be on The Ride show tonight, 10 p.m. Pacific on the NGBN.TV network. It's kind of like this show, but there's two of them and they're a little heavier. I think they're both right around 300 pounds. They are big human beings. And they are funny. They're just Canadian. Same thing, but they have better hair and they're Canadian. But they like poutine too, and I don't want to talk about that. All right, the bottom line for all of those that do not know what the bottom line is, it's all the stuff you should have learned within watching the show or listening to the show, and you didn't even realize you learned it. So here we go. Number one, just like Monahan said, take 15 minutes for you, hang out with great people, and don't talk bad about people. Take 15 minutes for you, hang out with great people, and don't talk bad about people. That's the fastest way to spread positivity amongst yourself. Great tips, easy tips, super easy tips too. Number two, sometimes talking to a stranger is a good thing. Remember I told you about the story where I was at a bar and that old Vietnam vet just reached over, touched me and says, "Hey, are you okay?" I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but, and then I just want to check on you, see if you're okay. I was like, that was kind of cool. It was past kind of cool. It was really cool. So sometimes talking to a stranger is a good thing. And last but not least, pay attention and pick up as much crap as you can. I use the word crap because I was talking about the wisdom rabbit, and Dave Bradley's just dumping knowledge all over the place, just like a rabbit. If you've ever seen a rabbit, you know what I'm talking about. They're just dropping those bombs everywhere. So pay attention and pick up as much crap as you can. Talk to other people. When you do, listen to them. Listening to Dave, you listen to what, 25 minutes? And if you were like me, you're writing stuff down every single time. All right, this was a great episode. Well done to Jenna in the back. Well done to Dave Bradley, my favorite Irishman, Doc Connor Hogan, and of course, Nicholas Monahan with his Minute with Monahan. Be sure to share, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon. And hey, don't forget to check out 39 shows on the NGBN.TV network. In case you haven't noticed, that it's going live in January. Guess what month we're in? January. So make sure you keep track. And there's all the Rubio Methods, social media handles and avenues and all that good stuff. You're doing a great job. Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method on the NGBN.TV network. Be sure to spread the word and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.